What's the difference between marketing strategy and marketing tactics? It's really two different places on the continuum. The tactic is what you end up with the results of the strategy. And somewhere along the line, a strategy is developed. It's either a fantastic strategy that can oftentimes yield wonderful tactics and results. It could be a ill-informed strategy, or a misaligned strategy, or an overly ambitious strategy, or sometimes no strategy, and it's simply a knee-jerk reaction to conditions in the market. We see this a lot with clients who say, hey, our sales are down, we need a video. Our sales are down, we need this. Without thinking, is that the best utilization of those resources and of those dollars? And is that going to yield the best result? Because it doesn't matter how big or how small your budget is. You could have $1,000 budget or $1 million budget. Those dollars still count. In order to make every dollar count in an appropriate way, there needs to be some thought and some strategy into it. And, when you're starting your business, as I was 11 years ago, I thought very tactically. I thought, okay, it was very reactive instead of responding, which is a much more appropriate way with your dollars, and may not be as quick as some people like, because oftentimes, again, you're a young entrepreneur, or you're a business owner, or your marketing director, and you just need some quick wins. It's hard to hear or to go through a little bit more of a discovery process or strategic process. But sometimes it's more important at the end of the day. I think the most important thing is to think about it as shooting an arrow at a target. With just tactics, you can hit a bullseye, but you're going to be all around, right? With strategy, you're narrowing that in, so you're going to hit the bullseye more effectively. You know who the customer is, you know who the approach is, you know what the market conditions are. And so all those things help guide and aim that arrow right into the bullseye. And yes, of course, you can pick up a bow and arrow and fire it, and you can hit a bullseye in the first time. And that happens. And it's luck. It's the wind is blowing right. Who knows? But you can't repeat that. It's harder and harder to repeat that if there's not a strategy guiding that process. So we have a client, they do Christmas light decorations. And they, for houses and, your yard and for years, they had kind of, gradual growth, and they were, not a big budget, small budget, so they can only exist on a few channels. And what we did, and recognizing that it's not a huge budget and not going in and say blasting, billboards and TV commercials, they really only focused on a few zip codes. And so what we did is took it back a step. We said, okay, from a strategic standpoint, what is the best way to convey the message that this is high-end Christmas light decorating for a very specific customer? So number one, we helped define the customer better. We defined the areas, and then we focused on really good creative. And that's something that they really hadn't been able to budget for or afford. And so in this case, we took a flyer and we absorbed that cost because we knew it would make a difference. And we ran it, we split tested, of course, but starting with a more strategic approach and going down to the tactical level, we ended up with about a 600% increase in their sales this year over last year. And you can't always expect that, but I think it's a discipline. And even if you yield a 20% increase in sales, because every business is different, it's a discipline. And I think as a business owner myself, the more disciplined I am, the more sustainability I will have in my business, and the better relationship I'll have with my customers. If I'm constantly changing my model, constantly changing my mind, constantly changing my approach, it's really hard to sustain that. That's hard to scale. And so if we want to scale and continue to grow, then a different mindset needs to be cultivated in order to really think big picture. And then also, and you may kind of land in the same spot, but your preparedness is much greater. And again, kind of to the point, your discipline is much better and allows you to sustain.